If this makes a mess, I guess we'll all get to laugh. I love rhubarb, and not because it's my favorite plant. It's definitely not, at least in terms of taste. It's really stringy, it's really tart. You kind of have to use a lot of sugar to even tolerate it. But the thing that I really love about rhubarb is what it symbolizes. And to me, rhubarb just symbolizes springtime. It is one of the first things I see coming up in the garden after a long winter. And whenever I start to see these little red stalks poking out of the ground, it just feels like we made it. You know, we finally got through a really long Ontario winter, like 6 months of cold, and spring is finally coming again. It just reminds me to slow down and appreciate this, because I've been waiting all winter for it. And, you know, until everything else is ready in the garden, we have rhubarb in all its abundance, this massive patch. You want to pick all the way from the base of the plant. So you'll have your hand really low and you'll pull up from the bottom. So we're going to want to see this. That encourages the plant to keep growing. Now you're going to want to snip off the leaves because they are toxic, they're poisonous. You don't want to eat them. They are also a little bit of a skin irritant, so I just leave them in the garden. I don't even bring them inside. They can just go in the compost. My absolute favorite thing to do with rhubarb in the springtime is simply just to juice it. And you don't need a juicer for this. You're more than welcome to use a blender. You can blend all of your rhubarb stalks and then strain it so that you just have the juice. But I have my juicer, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. My rhubarb has already been washed. And I like to just cut off the ends as well. Okay, let's do it. If you cut your rhubarb into small pieces, it makes it go through the juicer a lot easier because it has those long, stringy, fibrous fibers that can get caught in your juicer otherwise. Same if you're using a blender, I would just give your rhubarb a rough chop first. Okay, so as you can see, there's a little bit of foam on top, and I like to go ahead and just gently scrape that off, and it can go to the compost. We're trying to get a nice, smooth, pink juice. And the pinker the rhubarb stems, the pinker your overall final juice will be. You can also cheat though. If your rhubarb stems are really green, you can add a little bit of red fruit for color, like if you have frozen red raspberries or currants, like black currants work really well. Even blueberries will change the color to be more pink. So if you're using a blender or a juicer, go ahead and strain your juice. If this makes a mess, I guess we'll all get to laugh. Awesome. So here we are left with this amazing fresh rhubarb juice, and I like to do so many things with this. Probably my favorite thing is to make mocktails. You can also make cocktails as well. I'll let you in on a little secret, but it is a big secret. So my dad's favorite spring drink is basically a rye and ginger, but with rhubarb juice. So he does a little bit of rye, some ginger ale, and rhubarb juice, and then it creates this perfect balance, kind of like a whiskey sour, because the tart rhubarb juice pairs really well with the ginger ale and then the whiskey. Mwah. Now, I don't drink, so I'm gonna make a mocktail, and instead what I have is I am going to do a ginger beer. So I've gone ahead and I've made what they call a ginger bug, which is basically like a sourdough starter for bread, but a ginger bug for ginger beer. So we are going to make a rhubarb ginger beer with my ginger bug. So this here is the ginger bug. And I just have a cloth around it to keep out fruit flies because it's been fermenting on the counter for about a week now. And as you can see, it is filled with a whole bunch of grated up ginger and sugar. So you basically feed it every day with a spoon of sugar and a spoon of ginger. So it should be nice and bubbly. Okay, so in here I have some ginger tea, which is basically just a whole bunch of chopped up ginger that has been steeping in boiling water for about half an hour. And I've let it cool to, it's just a little warmer than room temperature. I do have my sister here, and she is going to help guide us through this because, as some of you know, she is a professional chef. She just doesn't want to be on camera today, and we're going to respect that. We don't always want to be on camera.
You're going to add about 250 mils, 1 cup or 8 ounces of ginger bug to your ginger tea, which is room temp, so we don't kill the microbes. And we don't want to add too much of it so there's not too much activity and it doesn't explode in our secondary fermentation.
Oh, okay, awesome. So I have my strainer right here. Okay, so about 250 mils, so about half of this?
About a third.
About a third, okay. I'm just gonna give it a little swirl drill. Is that smart? Just swirl it, make sure it's mixed. Or it doesn't matter. Okay, 1/3. Okay. This smells so good. Now, typically, I believe you would use lemon juice for this because we want a little bit of acid, but rhubarb, we're gonna say Ontario's lemon juice this time of year. So we want a rhubarb flavored ginger beer, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the rest of the liquid with the rhubarb juice. So if I want about 2 liters of this total, I'd say, what, Lorena, I have to add another like half cup of this?
Yeah, do it to taste.
Oh, do it to taste. Okay.
It's like a seasoning.
Makes sense. I might run out of room in here. You can say too much.
Might be a little tart.
I think it'll be good though. I don't have anything cuter for this to go in, so just ignore the giant Tupperware. Okay, we want to do this to taste, but it's going to ferment again, so it should be a little bit too sweet, correct?
Yeah, the microbes are going to eat the sugar.
You should try this. Wise. Okay, so now we need to figure out a way how to get this liquid into our clean, sterilized pop top bottle. This is going to be our secondary fermentation bottle. Amazing. So I did not bring a funnel out to the garden, so we're just gonna wing this. And let me tell you, I am glad that I am doing this outside. Best thing about outside cooking. Not bad. Okay, so I have gone ahead and I've left a little bit of room in my bottle because it's going to continue to ferment and get really bubbly, so I don't want to fill it all the way to the top. So I am using a round flip top bottle. You have to be really careful with these. These can explode on you if you're doing them at home. So I also like to have a control bottle. I'm going to put the remaining liquid of this into a plastic bottle. That's really handy because I can feel how carbonated it is by squeezing it. If the bottle's really hard, that means it's super carbonated. If I can still squeeze the plastic, it's not very carbonated. But you can also burp it every day. So you're gonna want to store this in a cool, dark place. And then every day you can kind of check on it, and you might just need to open it up slightly like this and release some of the gas. And then close it again and put it back in storage. Once it is fizzy enough, then it is ready to drink. You can put it in the fridge. That will slow down the fermentation, and you'll have a delicious, wild fermented, homemade rhubarb ginger beer. And then I also have a little bit of remaining rhubarb juice, so I'm gonna leave that for fresh mocktails, or maybe I'll put it in the fridge and Dad will be lucky to get some for his cocktails. Let me know if you would try this. It's super easy. Like I said, you don't have to use a juicer, but if you do want to use a juicer, I love mine. I've had it for over 12 years now. Works just like the day I got it. I'll make sure that there's a link down in the description somewhere for that. I just feel like rhubarb and all the flowers, everything is just these magical little things that need to be celebrated and appreciated. So this is just my little way of saying thank you, rhubarb, and thank you, spring. Thank you so much for coming, and I'll see you in the next video. I dropped one. For the trees! Well, if you like it, then I like it.